Hey, see.
Since 1964, drill sergeants have been responsible for training our Army's volunteer fighting force. Fort Jackson is home to the only drill sergeant academy in our Army and is responsible for providing drill sergeants to every training center across the initial military training enterprise. Since its inception, the purpose of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Program is to transform non-commissioned officers into drill sergeants, who in turn have the responsibility to transform civilians into soldiers, our national treasure. The thousands of American young men and women who have volunteered to answer the call of a grateful nation. The job of the drill sergeant is one of a professional trainer, coach, mentor, and leader. This is not an easy or simple job, and it comes with sacrifices that each drill sergeant must make in order to perform this extremely important mission. Those who are graduating today will spend the next 2 to 3 years on the trail training the next generation of our Army. The phrase "on the trail" comes from the frontier days when cattle were driven from California to Colorado to be marketed. The original drill sergeants coined this phrase because of the similar process of moving soldiers from one place to another, with few problems or loss along the way. There is a continued effort to move drill sergeants to that high degree of excellence and expertise for which they are known. The drill sergeant course is both stressful and challenging. The 9 weeks of training are broken down into 12-hour days, adding up to 446 hours of instruction. This training is a privilege reserved for the best of the best. Only the top 10% of all sergeants, Army-wide, are eligible to attend the drill sergeant course. Not all sergeants complete this difficult period of training. On 24 July 2025, candidates arrived. During the course, 48 sergeants were removed for various reasons, with 6 being inserted, resulting in the 82 that are graduating here today. Those graduating represent disciplined, motivated, physically fit drill sergeants who exemplify the drill sergeant creed. All 82 drill sergeants truly are the proud example of our Army and will undoubtedly transform the next generation of civilian volunteers into soldiers that are fully capable of defeating any enemy on today's modern battlefield. Ladies and gentlemen, identified by their distinctive headgear and pistol belt, are the drill sergeant leaders responsible for having trained and mentored today's graduating class. Drill sergeant leaders instruct the course in small groups of 20 candidates on average. They are highly motivated, professional, and seasoned drill sergeants who have a minimum of 1 year experience in the initial entry training environment from any of the 4 training centers and advanced individual training locations. They were hand-selected to serve as drill sergeant leaders as a result of demonstrating expert leadership, mastery of warrior tasks and battle drills, and consistently performing at the top 1% of their peers. In addition, all have completed the Trade-Off Drill Sergeant Leader Certification Program. Please join me in a round of applause for their hard work and dedication. Ladies and gentlemen, the Deputy Commandant of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy, Sergeant Major Andrew J. Coleman.
Good morning. So good morning, distinguished guests, families, and friends, and thank you for joining us today for the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy graduation ceremony for class 020-25. What a great day to be part of the Drill Sergeant Academy. It's the gold standard for non-commissioned officer development and cadre certification. My name is Sergeant Major Andrew Palmer, and I am the Deputy Commandant, proudly serving alongside the most highly motivated and well-trained drill sergeants in the United States Army. A drill sergeant is a standard bearer for the U.S. Army. It's the first person a new soldier meets, the very epitome of what we expect every member of the U.S. Army to be. They are experts in all warrior tasks and battle drills. They live the Army values, exemplify the warrior ethos, and are guardians of the Army profession. As a drill sergeant, you are responsible for coaching, teaching, motivating, inspiring, and mentoring thousands of soldiers as you transform them from civilians to combat-ready soldiers. A typical day as a drill sergeant starts before dawn and doesn't end until well past sunset. As a drill sergeant, you are all that your soldiers know of the Army, and they emulate everything you do. Being a drill sergeant is one of the most demanding and difficult jobs in our Army. It is also one of the most rewarding. And just as you will always remember your drill sergeant, so will your soldiers. You will be remembered for how you invested into them, believed in them when they didn't believe in themselves, always enforced the standard, and challenged them to keep going. Class 020-25, congratulations on accomplishing this daunting challenge. You met or exceeded every standard we set. You surmounted every obstacle, but the challenge is just beginning. Enjoy the time between now and when you report, whether it be a weekend or 6 months, and take time to reflect on the challenge that lies ahead and what you hope to achieve. There will be times when you are tired, hot, cold, hungry, and more, and look to your battle buddies during these times of encouragement. Your experience as a drill sergeant will be directly impacted by the battle buddies you have and are. The task is great, and you are charged with nothing less than training tomorrow's leaders. The Army, the country, and the Constitution are depending on you. Today's guest speaker is Master Sergeant Paris Bledsoe. Master Sergeant Bledsoe is a leader who comes to us with knowledge and understanding of what we do here at the Drill Sergeant Academy. He is a native of Birmingham, Alabama, and joined the Army in 2008. He completed basic combat training here at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and earned his MOS of 68 Juliet after completing his advanced individual training at Fort Sam Houston, Texas. Some of Master Sergeant Bledsoe's assignments include 5th Medical Brigade, Birmingham, Alabama, 384th Medical Logistics Company, Atlanta, Georgia, 80th Training Command, Fort Knox, Kentucky, and 18th Medical Command, Fort Shafer, Hawaii. He is currently serving as the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy's Operations NCOIC. Please join me in welcoming our guest speaker, Master Sergeant Bledsoe.
Hey, good morning, families.
Good morning.
I'm from Alabama, so we usually retort when somebody speaks to us. So I'll try it again. Good morning, families.
Good morning.
That's better. Hey, good morning, graduating class, all of our distinguished visitors. Like Sergeant Major mentioned, I'm the Operations NCOIC for the Drill Sergeant Academy, and I've been for the last 3 years. And so I've seen 70 plus graduations. I've seen somewhere around 6,000 drill sergeant candidates transform from NCOs into drill sergeants. And so, you know, the words of wisdom I give you today are coming from a place of understanding. And so one of the biggest, I guess, things I want to do is change it up a little bit, right? So typically the guest speaker, you know, stands here and speaks across the auditorium to the drill sergeant candidates, but I believe that space is a barrier to connection. So I'm going to come out and talk to the drill sergeant candidates or the drill sergeants that are graduating in a few minutes. And so just change it up a little bit. But as I'm coming out, I want to tell you a story, right? So one day there was a man, hometown, walking down the street. The man fell in a manhole, right? Manhole was about 10 feet deep. So the man starts yelling for, y'all can relax, y'all are uptight. There we go. And so the man's in the manhole, 10 feet deep, and starts yelling for help. And so a preacher hears the man, comes by, asks him what's wrong. The man says, I'm stuck in a hole. Can you help me? The preacher says, well, I can't help you, but I'll say a prayer for you. Right? The preacher prays for him and goes on his way. The man continues to yell for help. A baker comes up, asks the man, what's wrong? What are you doing down there? He says, I'm stuck. I need help. Can you help me? The baker says, I can't help you. I got to go to work, but I'll bring you some bread back. So the baker brings the guy bread back and goes on about his day. Then the baker walks by. Same setup, right? Guy's yelling for help. The baker asks what's wrong. The guy says, I'm stuck in a hole. Can you help me out? The baker says, I got to go to work, but here's some money. When you do get out, get you something nice. Goes on his day. A few minutes pass by, a friend of the man comes by. Here's the man in the hole. Asks him what's wrong. He said, I'm stuck in the hole. And the friend jumps in the hole with him. And the man asked him, like, what's wrong with you? Now we're both stuck. And the friend says, I've been in this hole before, and I know how to get out. And the friend helps him out of the hole, right? And so really, what I'm conveying to you, drill sergeant candidate or drill sergeant soon to be, there's a ton of people, your drill sergeant leaders, the drill sergeants on the trail, like myself, the deputy coming up. We've been in the hole that you're about to get into, right? And we know the way out. And so if at any point during your journey as a drill sergeant, you need help, feel free to reach back out to the drill sergeant academy. Feel free to reach out to your battle brothers that you may hear at the drill sergeant academy. I can help them or let them help you get out of that hole, right? So I want to start with that. But like Sergeant Major mentioned, the responsibilities of the drill sergeant are probably the most daunting in the Army, right? Like we're up super early, we're going to be staying super late for the trainees until they go to bed, right? But what I don't want for you is to allow the stressful environment to dictate your pace. And what I mean by that is, even though the demands of the drill sergeant is hard, you still have to do tough things, right? You still have to push yourself to be better, to go faster, to go longer than you've ever done before, right? And so, you know, the first area you got to push yourself is physically. Don't stop doing hard things physically. Continue to push yourselves physically so that as you begin to, you know, come through the trail and stuff, you galvanize your abilities, right, to have that demeanor of a drill sergeant, that tough demeanor of a drill sergeant. So, you know, a lot of times we talk about drill sergeants leaving the trail in unhealthier conditions than when they started the trail. But the opportunity is there for you to maintain your level of fitness, right? And so if you're at a small example is if you're at a range, right, when transportation is coming to get your trainees and take them back to the CTA, that's an opportunity for you to run back to the CTA, right? Here on Fort Jackson, from range 8 back to the CTA here is around 5 miles, right? So use that opportunity to run those 5 miles and stay in good physical condition, right? If you're a lifter, right, go in the gym one day, do 1,000 squats. Do something that's going to push you every day because when you're done as a drill sergeant, the force is still waiting on you. Right? You still got work to do when you're finished doing drill sergeant. So don't let the demands of this environment dictate your pace. And the most important thing is you're going to have trainees that are doing the most stressful thing they've ever done. And the expectation you're going to have for them is that they push through that stressful environment. That they push through and they break whatever, you know, chains they came into the Army with as a civilian, and they push through and become a U.S. Army soldier, right? And so we have to lead by example in that, continue to push ourselves even when the demands are high. The second area you got to push hard in is your relationship with your family, your friends, and your community, right? A lot of people talk about the time of a drill sergeant. You don't have a lot of free time. It is true. But deliberate time and purposeful time with your family is going to galvanize that relationship. Your time is money. Right? If you invest your money in areas that are not giving you a due out or giving you a return on investment, you wouldn't put your money in that place. The same thing with your time, right? You expect something in return from your family. You expect the support, you expect, you know, meals, or whatever the case may be, whatever the dynamic of your family is. Well, you got to invest in that. And so again, you will not have a lot of time, but you'll have the opportunity to be deliberate with your time. An example of that is you're going to have times where you get back to the company training or CTA around 1,500, and bed down is not until 2,100, 2,200, right? There's no reason for 3 drill sergeants to be the outside of red phase, right? There's no reason for 3 drill sergeants to be in the CTA. If you go out and you be a senior drill sergeant leader, look over your training schedule, see who you can let go and spend time with their family. That's going to mean more to them than sitting in the CTA because everybody's back there, right? And so use that to your advantage. Those opportunities that you get back to training early and you need one man, one woman to stay, leave one. Go spend time with your family. Because again, when the trail is over, they're going to still be there. And if you don't invest in them when the trail is over, what you'll see is that over the last 2 years, you've grown apart. Your wife or your husband is different than when you started the trail. Your children are different than when you started the trail. Right? So use that time wisely. And then the third and final area I think you have to do hard things in is your relationship with your battle brothers. What I mean by that is, as you get to the trail, you'll see drill sergeants that are doing things that are nefarious, right? It means doing things the wrong way. Don't be afraid to hold those drill sergeants accountable to their actions. You understand what the standard is. You're probably more intelligent than them because you just finished drill sergeant training. And so you know what right and wrong is. Do not be afraid to hold them accountable. And if they're not performing to the standard, report it up, right? Because here's the thing. In 15 years, that trainee that you're training is going to be somebody's first sergeant. 20 years, they're going to be a brigade command sergeant major. And for some of you, you may have the ability here this year or next year to train the sergeant major of the Army 25, 30 years from now. right? And so if drill sergeants are doing the correct things, it's going to affect our force for years to come. And so we have to hold our battle buddies accountable. And that's difficult. We see it all the time. It's difficult to tell the guy or girl sitting next to you, in the ground with you, in the sun with you, that they're wrong. That's a hard thing, but you got to do that hard thing, right? And if not, our force is not as strong, right? Our freedoms are threatened when drill sergeants don't do the right thing. Because again, those soldiers, those trainees are going to be the leaders of tomorrow's army, right? And so I'll leave you with this. Do three tough things. Do 3 tough things physically, do tough things with your family, make deliberate time, right? And be accountable. Have your battle buddies be accountable. If you do those 3 things, your time on the trail will be far successful. You'll end it. You'll go back to the fighting force, and you'll be better for it. But salt through. This will defend. On my home. Here we go.
Drill and ceremony is the basis for standards and discipline in the initial entry training environment. During the course, the drill sergeant candidates are instructed and assessed on their ability to perform and teach drill and ceremony positions and movements, culminating with the drill and ceremony competition. The squad that displayed the highest level of proficiency is awarded the drill and ceremony trophy to be displayed until the following cycle. For Class 020-25, the drill and ceremony competition winner is 1st Platoon, 1st Squad, who was led by Drill Sergeant Epperson. Please join me in a round of applause for the winning squad of the drill and ceremony competition. At the Drill Sergeant Academy, it is tradition to appropriately recognize those who distinguish themselves by their outstanding performance. In keeping with this tradition, the following awards are presented. The Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle is the Drill Sergeant Leader who displayed the highest contribution to the entire platoon, created in an impeccable learning environment, and displayed a standard for all graduating drill sergeants to follow. For Class 020-25, the Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle is Deputy Senior Drill Sergeant Leader Sim. At this time, 1st Command will present the Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle with a gift for their outstanding leadership. At this time, the Deputy Commandant of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy, Sergeant Major Andrew J. Palmer, will present the Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle with the Commandant's coin for their outstanding leadership. Please join me in a round of applause for the Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle. Senior Drill Sergeant Leader Von Wellos will now present the graduating class their distinctive headgear. Please hold your applause and cheering until the awardees have been acknowledged. The Leadership Award is presented to the candidate who displayed the highest degree of professionalism and demonstrated sound judgment while performing the leadership position. The Leadership Award recipient and member of the Commandant's List is Drill Sergeant Schreckengoss, Fort Benning, Georgia. The Iron Drill Sergeant Award is given to the candidates who displayed the highest degree of physical fitness during the Iron Drill Sergeant Fitness Test. The Iron Drill Sergeant Award recipients are Drill Sergeant Jen Vier, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, with a score of 500. And Drill Sergeant Jeffrey, Presidio of Monterey, California, with a score of 477. Each awardee will receive a token for exceeding the standards while in the course. Please join me in a round of applause for the awardees. The following drill sergeants exceeded course standards, demonstrated exceptional physical fitness, and maintained a grade point average in the top 20% of their graduating class. For these achievements, they are rightfully placed on Commandant's list. Drill Sergeant Jefferson, 108 Training Command. Drill Sergeant Maxwell, Fort Sam Houston, Texas. Drill Sergeant Rouse, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Please join me in a round of applause for the Commandant's list. Ladies and gentlemen, the following drill sergeants are graduates of class 020-25. Please hold your applause and cheering until the last drill sergeant is acknowledged.
Drill Sergeant, Armendariz, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Baker, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Banks, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Bergeron, Recruit Sustainment, Massachusetts.
Drill Sergeant Barrios, 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Bolser, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Bowstring, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Braswell, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Broker, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Sept, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Chapman, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Clark,
Drill Sergeant Aguirre, 108 Training Command. Drill Sergeant Epperson, Fort Leonard, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Farouk, Fort Houston, Virginia. Drill Sergeant Belcher, Fort Gordon, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Tiger, Fort Leonard, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Ford, Fort Leonard, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Frederick, Gulfport, Mississippi.
Drill Sergeant Fred, Fort Linwood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant G. Kobe, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Harding, 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Hill, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Yeah, battle, Drill Sergeant Hill, give him hell. Drill Sergeant Hills, Fort Huachuca, Arizona.
Drill Sergeant Hughes, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Iniguez, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Apache, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Jackson, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Janet, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Jimenez, 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Johnston, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Command, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Leave now, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Sergeant Martin, Fort Lee, Virginia.
Drill Sergeant McCollum, Fort Lee, Virginia.
Drill Sergeant Mendez, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Perry, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Boyd, Fort Leonard, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Law, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Munoz, Fort Leonard, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Nielsen, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Patella, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Robertson, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Rodriguez, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Rolbecki, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Salazar, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Sololi, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Serrano, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Scher, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Sin, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Smith, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Smith, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Smith, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Snyder, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Saunders, Fort Moody, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Sorrento, Steve, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Stubblefield, 108, Training Command. My girl.
Drill Sergeant Stuckey, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Drill Sergeant Sutter, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Thomas, Fort Sam Houston, Texas. Drill Sergeant Thorne, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Timmons, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Turner, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Waldorf, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Wood, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.